Hi, I'm Andrea Goeglein, and joining me today is my co-host, Sofia Monroe. What Sofia and I are going to get to do today is something that rarely two people get to do, and that's sit down with a 102-year-old doctor who has lived life, obviously 102 years, and can offer to us through our discussion about her book, The Well-Lived Life and the 6 Points, what it really means to feel your way in life through love. So let me tell you, before you get into the video, you will notice there's probably a little disjointed starting, and that's because even though I know how to do this really well, I screwed up at the beginning and the beautiful opening got screwed up. That to me is just one of the many lessons that she has Dr. Gladys has in the book, that everything is your teacher. So I want you to listen to the conversation that Sofia and I got to have with her that spans everything from adolescent depression to what it means to be undervalued, to what it means to hold a goal into your hundreds and what that form can look like. So know that this is the reason we're here today. You will get to experience 3 Sagittarians on screen, and I hope you take away the message, stick to the end, because I think it's worth it. Thank you.
And she was in the mission building one day when the policeman brought a little baby to the mission. The story was that the mill workers were going to work that morning before dawn, and they walked past a cactus patch. This is South India, and they heard something, so they stopped and listened and went into the cactus, put some boards down, and they found a naked little girl baby in the cactus. They picked her up and took her to the police, and the police didn't want her, so they sent her to the mission. And of course, my aunt grabbed her and hung on to her because she became Dorcas Nundy, and she was my little sister. As my sister and I took her into our family as our little sister. Now, she had 2 sons, and her oldest son is a remarkable person doing all kinds of ecology in South India. But he has a 16-year-old daughter who had gone through, and I won't go into the details of it.
Should I show the photo?
Yes, her photo.
Sure.
Yeah.
That would be great. Thank you.
There she is.
Beautiful. Holding the book. Holding the book. I love that. Yay.
So she had gone through a year-long deep depression because the goal that she'd been working for had just completely blown up because she was a girl and not a boy. You know, think about her grandmother, who the story is carrying through here.
Correct.
And so for a year now, she's been so depressed and so holding herself in until she read the book. And she has written, and we can send you the whole
Testy.
The whole story that she has written up to use. I think we'll have to get her a person, but we'll do this and take it. But what Bob said is the essence of what she has done. She has taken this and pulled herself right out of that depression, and she's starting school, I think the end of the couple of weeks, and she's on a roll. So,
well, Dr. Gladys, let me just interject what that critical statement is, because it is so beautiful, and thank you for sharing it with us. Simplicity transforms complexity.
Transfigures.
complexity. What I love about that is, am I correct that she garnered that feeling, that she was inspired by that term through working through your 6 secrets to life?
Yes, yes.
Beautiful. You know, Sofia and I met. I do workshops, and it was Sofia who gave me the word say it.
Pronoia.
Pronoia. So instead of being paranoid, she wanted us to be, and it wasn't, I know I looked it up after we met, and I just thought, you know, how incredible. The ability for us to continually learn from each other at different phases and life stages. For your work, Dr. Gladys, to be imparted on the heart of a 16-year-old that allow, and we in this country, as all of us well know, depression, isolation, feeling as though we're not going to make it, is hitting our young at a very, very hard level. So I think that that is an incredible way to lead into our conversation today about your work. And, you know, Sofia, I'd like you to set us up for a conversation of what it means not to be valued, and then have Dr. Gladys guide us through her experience, how we overcome that.
So how do I start this? Because we've had so many conversations, and you've been a mentor and a friend in my life for years now. I've shared so much. Doctor, I work in film and television. I'm a producer. I didn't go to school for it. Didn't go to film school. I didn't go to business school. I initially went to school to be a neurologist. I did the biology major, realized that I wanted to help people in different ways. So the path led me to Los Angeles for an internship. I had a chip on my shoulder going, well, it's like I didn't have schooling for this, so I need to build my resume. I need to prove myself. And I'm 35 years old now. I've been in film and TV for about 16 years. And I know something that wears on me still, feeling like the more you build your resume, the more experience you have, the more confidence you gain as you go through life, and you believe that you're here for a reason and you found your reason, and you're among people pouring your heart out, pouring your skill set out, and still being faced with, I call them isms, the negative isms, whether it's sexism, racism, colorism. I called kindism, because I don't know if you experience this too. So many people still feel if you're too nice, then you're not as capable, or if you're too nice, you're not as smart, or, you know, just insert whatever discrimination or assumption, right? And so something that I've been really humbled by is that as I get older, it gets a little easier to be desensitized to it, but the depression and anxiety, or that little voice in your head that starts to join those other people, the imposter syndrome, right? How do you find or remind yourself, or what is your advice for some people who can sometimes forget their value, or they're faced with another way in which somebody questions their value? How do you go through that, and what do you suggest to people to be able to stand up tall, and if somebody curveballs you with something, how do you dig deep and you have a great response? Just yeah, I'm curious.
Well, you know, when I started school, I found out that I was dyslexic, only I didn't know what the word was. All I knew is I couldn't read, I couldn't write, I couldn't add, I couldn't subtract. I was a class dummy. And I had a teacher who really believed that. And so for 2 years, because I couldn't pass first grade to go into second grade, I had to stay in that same class to be another whole group of kids who were calling me the class dummy. Now, that was a huge scar to my whatever being. But fortunately, I had a family at home that I could, after I was done with school, we were living in the high Himalayas and went to the school there. I could climb up and get to my house and things would completely change and I could reclaim my life. Well, but I really, so then when I was in third grade, the teacher saw something in me and appointed me class governor. So that helped a whole lot. And my mother, there's another whole story there. But the point being that I was 93 years old before I really claimed my life. Up until that time, I was writing books on medicine and on birthing, and one book, The World Needs Old Ladies, and, you know, things like that. But I didn't really trust my voice. It was like, like in writing The World Needs Old Ladies, I had another old lady to help me write, you know, that kind of thing. So it was that constant process until I was 93 years old. It went on for years and years and years. 93, I had a dream. And in the dream, it was a Sunday morning, and I knew it was a Sunday morning in this life, this part of life. And so I woke up laughing and singing, but I was still in the dream. And what I saw was, I saw myself as 9-year-old Gladys looking out of the tent flap in where we were in the jungles and checking out to make sure my younger brother wasn't there, because he'd tattle on me because I was going to do something I was intending to do, which not, you know, was going to get me into trouble. And that was singing something I wanted to sing, because we weren't allowed to sing anything but hymns and bhajans. And I thought that was a silly rule. And anyway, he wasn't there. So I climbed as fast as I could up the tree and got to the very top, and I'm sitting in the tree singing. I'm singing everything I could think of, including the caterpillar song and all kinds of stuff. And I was having a ball, but every so often I'd look over my shoulder and Jesus was up in the tree with me.
Wow.
So I look at him and he's laughing. And I said, Jesus loves the little children, right? And he says, laughing, he says, yes. So I go on with my singing, and then I get to thinking, did he really say yes? So I go back to the checking point, and I said, Jesus loves the little children, right? I'm still a little children, right? And he says, yes, and he is laughing. And so I wake up laughing and realizing that what if Jesus could say my voice was okay, it's about time I accepted it for what it was. And that's when I began taking charge of my voice. And it's after that that the essence of what I had been writing about began to flow into a verbal sort of way in which I could write this book. But it was really, I was 93 years old before that happened.
I want to, that enlivens my heart so much, because I'll take your first secret. You are here for a reason. And I would then paraphrase, add, and you may not know what that reason is for a very long time.
Absolutely.
And what there are your second secret, that all life needs to move, is to me the continuation of where Sofia is. And I purposely I always love to do everything with Sofia, but the ability to have her be 35, me at 67, you at 102, to see that life needs to move because we don't know where it's going to end up. And the dream that you have, you have another secret where you are truly never alone. I think in that dream, that point, that secret is what we need to pay attention to. I know Sofia has some indications of when she knows she's not alone at the spiritual level. And is it numbers? There is something you have said to me historically, Sofia, that
Numerology is something
numbers.
that after my mom passed away, that has become such a blessing of an indicator that you're heard. The universe, God,
Yes.
whatever you want to call the higher power that is above us and for us and with us.
Yes.
And yeah, so numbers more than ever. And just at lunch or when we were together the other day,
Yes.
I said, it's interesting. It's almost like the more you acknowledge that you're being heard or that there's messaging for you all around, the more you see it and the more you feel it. And yeah.
And I think this is such an important topic, Dr. Gladys, because one of your other many secrets is spend your energy wildly. And for us, as we lead into the conversation about goals and what it's like to be 102 years old and hold goals, and what it's like to be 35 and 67, goals are a part of our existence. How we spend our energy and breaking down from everything having to be this mental, like Sofia, you started, but you didn't have a degree in this, but you had a love and an interest for it. And Dr. Gladys started in the traditional MD role, delivering babies, and yet at every turn through the years, your practice expanded to the more feeling and knowing, ways of knowing differently than just the scientific ways. So I want to ask this question about goals. And Dr. Gladys, I have seen many times on your Instagram feed, which is Be Glad MD, and you do live presentations each week and advice each week. You talk about goals, and I have I've come to the point in my life, I was such a goal-oriented person, and, they didn't all come out the way I wanted them to. And then, you get defeated, and then you wonder, like, I actually can't imagine not having goals. But I was taken by your devotion at 102 years old currently, that you're holding a 10-year goal. And I would love for you to articulate not just that you hold a goal, but what is that? What is that dream that you have yet to materialize? And then at one point, we'll actually get a little graphic of it. But could you share a little more meat on what your goal is with everyone?
To put it into words, which is it's when you try to put a huge thought process into words, it becomes difficult, is to have a village for living medicine. And I have shifted from the concept of, no, I haven't shifted, but well, holistic medicine was the word we used when we started this whole process. And that was holistic with an H, because the core word was health, healing, and holy. So that was holistic medicine. But I was in the grocery store one time about 6 or 7 years ago, and pushing my cart through the store, and I heard over the PA system, the hardware store down the street, announcing that it was changing into a holistic hardware store. And I stopped my cart and I thought, well, there you have it. They don't know what it means, but it's a household word now. So we got to come up with another one. Well, I had been talking about living medicine anyway.
Mhm.
And so the whole concept of holistic medicine morphing into living medicine, which is in the process of growing into concepts of living medicine around the world, where we can have villages for living medicine. It's that kind of a femifestation, but let me tell you about femifestation. It's another word that I think is a really good word.
And you'll have to spell that for me so that I get it right, because
I
I've
will-
not
I
heard
will.
that word before.
I will.
Okay, later we'll get that.
All right. All right. So I was, this is about 6 or 8 years ago. I woke up one morning with, dreams have been very important to me, numerology too, but dreams. And in this dream, I heard a huge crash. And I woke up and I saw myself in a valley in the high Himalayas. And on the right-hand side, there was a young woman splayed out on the ground, just barely breathing. And on the left-hand side, there was a huge man in armor laid out on the ground in the same position. And the voice came and said, these two forces have been using their hands wrongly. They're beating on each other and trying to get, they're trying to understand what they're doing. It's time that they put their fingers together in the way that you could do what you pray if you want to.
Right.
And I woke up. And so I had this friend in Rosalie Dearhart in Virginia Beach, who is a very intuitive person. So we talked things over. And she said, and we got to talking about manifestation. And realized, she said to me, but I have another word. She says it's femifestation. And femifestation is the feminine aspect of the whole process of life that has to manifest in order that it becomes real. In other words, manifestation is Jacob's ladder. You get a degree, you grow on, you do something, and you climb the ladder. Femifestation, you can be on the 5th, it's the spiral, and you can be on the 5th level and know what's going on down at the 2nd level. It's that kind of a reality in the feminine world. And we were trying to get these things, two things. But once you get that, and you can understand that, you understand a very important aspect of our life itself.
Mm-hmm.
And that is that when the sperm and ovum create, life is activated by love. So love activates the sperm, the sperm we get,
Yes.
our life gets going, and then it starts to grow within the mother. And the two of them from that point on become one.
Yes.
I mean, we are one unit. What the mother thinks, the baby thinks. What the mother eats, the baby eats. So that one unit is a 9-month, however long it is, femifestation of the evolving spirit in this world. But that evolving spirit can't do anything by itself until it is manifested when it has its first breath. It's at that point when the baby takes its first breath, it becomes an entity with a purpose on this earth, with a reason for being here, and separate from the mother who was femifesting all this time. So when we have a dream, in other words, my dream of the village for living medicine has been femifesting a long time. And I don't know when it's actually going to take its first breath,
Right.
but it will, because the pattern, life has been activated within the whole process of this whole concept, and therefore it's in the process of manifesting. And in my mind, a village for living medicine can happen any place in the world. It's not just what I'm thinking. It's what another group of people who are living their own lives the way they're living them can manifest and bring love and life into the reality of this earth.
Thank you so much. For me, and in a moment, I'm going to invite Bob to put up the graphic, but I want to focus first on your secret 3, which love is the most powerful medicine. So it's as though you have already, the egg has met the sperm and it came to life. And Bob, would you put up for us, would you share that graphic? Because I would just like to talk about it for a moment, because I think it's such a beautiful example of the difference between linear thinking when you are holding a goal and the more fluid using your juice and the wild energy within us. So, what I see in this is that you have incorporated all 6 of your life secrets with the different directions. And it is a conceptualization based in love on how a village of living medicine, with the main medicine being love, can come together in order to live through the secrets and the various ups and downs of life. Am I close about what I'm seeing?
Yes, absolutely. And it's a 5-pointed star, and it's my 5 L's. And, it goes on. There's, when you try to put words and places on things, you can sometimes come up with a vision of how it could be. It doesn't matter. It doesn't say that this is the way it will be. But if you can take a look at this, at the east side is birth and birthing. So a loving birth center would have to be there. And then move right across to what I call aging into health. And loving birth is where love and life cooperate and become manifested, right. All of, what we just talked about. And then you go across and you come to where laughter without love is cruel, it's mean, it's cold. Mm-hmm. But laughter with love is growing into health. Mm-hmm. And it's aging into health. That's all in the West as you move into the ages that I'm in. Then you go down to the South, and that's where labor.
No, that's listening.
Listening.
Okay, we go up to the North. That's where labor is.
Labor was West. I'm looking at the chart. Yeah, I can see the chart and you can't.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so I go through my.
So labor is.
This is a good Sagittarian exercise too, but the labor. Let me just do the 5 L's. The first 2 is life and love, and they are together. They have to move together. The third one is laughter. Laughter without love is cruel, it's mean, but right. Laughter with love is joy and happiness. Labor without love is drudgery. It's, you gotta go to work. You just drag yourself. It's when you're in a deep place.
We've all been there, right, Sophia?
Right. Labor with love is bliss. It's why you do what you need to do, why your soul has called you. And then the 5th L is listening. Listening without love is empty sound. but listening with love is understanding. So those 5 L's fit in there. And you know, these can be positioned and worked with and identified to what is presenting itself at the time. But the very center of it all is love. And the center of a living village for me would be a sanctuary that has no walls. It doesn't have a roof, it doesn't have walls, it doesn't keep anybody out. It allows anybody who is looking for their deep soul growth to come and find what they need. So it's that kind of a very fluid, movable, applicable thought form that can be used by any one of us who is looking for that kind of a life. And see, I have this kind of idea about life anyway. I think when God, whoever God is to any one of us, created the earth, and he did a really good job, and he looked at the earth and he thought, yeah, this is very nice, and I like this, so then he created the human being, and he said to us humans, I have given you something that no other living aspect of the earth has, and that's free choice and free will. So therefore, you are being given dominion over the earth. And we, in our arrogance, thought he said dominance. He didn't say dominance at all. We are not supposed to dominate the earth. We are supposed to take care of the earth.
Yes.
So it's that inner understanding that is our life process, whatever aspect of that we have come in to live on through and all that this lifetime, is the essence of that is love. And if we could enter that and then understand that Mother Earth has loved us a long, long time, and we've been pretty mean to her. You know, we've ignored her, and well, I won't go into that, but
and you know, for me, you ending where everything begins with love, you helping us understand that everything from the earth to the way we heal ourselves is through love, for me, is the message that I would want everyone to hear about your work. And I'm going to tell you a funny story. The front end, which, you know, I set up so beautifully, trust me, it did not get recorded. I didn't catch that my computer wanted me to know where I was going to be recording it. So I'm going to have to redo the intro. So I want to make sure that everyone sees the book, and I will make sure that we
Hold on, I have to stop the screen share.
Yes, oh, please. You can. Well, actually, yeah, thank you. And, you know, Dr. Gladys, Sofia, my hope for today is that everyone sees what it is that's possible when you allow love to be the guide.
absolutely.
And so that's what my hope is. I'd love for each of you, as our sign off, what is your hope for when someone hears this conversation today? Dr. Gladys?
Check into the physician within yourself and how you really understand and love that aspect of yourself, so that that physician within you can cooperate with any physician on the outside and become a colleague. And so we, in the process of healing, whether, no matter what the scar is, the basic aspect of that healing is love. If
Thank you.
any modality can be used, if it's used with love, and healing can happen when that connection of the physician within the patient and the doctor takes on.
Thank you. And Sofia, I want to give you, since you're the youngest, I want to give you the last word, since you're leading us to the next generations.
Well, Doctor, you said what I was thinking and feeling, and something that the older I get, the more I realize how important it is to trust yourself, which is one of your biggest pieces of advice that I've looked into. And then, yes, how important it is to love yourself and to trust yourself and to trust that intuition and visions that are bestowed upon you, it's coming from a higher place, and it's meant for you to move to action or to believe in it. And just, yeah, the more I've learned about you and I listened to you, you just co-signed and confirmed a lot of what I'm learning, and I feel I'm learning more of, is just, yeah, the core is love. But
Yes.
you need to trust yourself, and you need to be kinder to yourself and find a way to heal yourself, so then your best self, especially if you're here and you believe you're here for others, you gotta be that. You got to love you first in order to love others better and more deeply and fully. I feel like that's a messaging that you say and you live. So I really
Love in action. I mean, what better way for us to end?
Yes.
Dr. Gladys, thank you. Sofia, thank you for joining me today. And what I truly do hope is that love in action is what we collectively take away. And it will help if you read the book and learn the 6 secrets, because if you have those come to life, it is amazing how great your life can be. Again, thank you, ladies. And I look forward to this being published.
And can we do this again sometime? Round 2?
Yes, of course we could do it again. Of course we could do it again.
I would love to speak with you
Yes,
more.
and I'm just going to let the recording keep going because I do need to redo the front end, and I want to have it all on one tape when I now have to give it to someone to edit. Normally I can do these things, but that's not going to happen. So Dr. Gladys, I want to, give you back your time, which I know is so precious, and just thank you. This, your ability to articulate visions for us has so much importance.
Thank you.
And the more that we can intergenerationally learn from each other, the greater the hope that both our earth and its inhabitants will continue to thrive. So thank you.
Thank you.
And Bob, thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you on the class.